The Philadelphia Eagles, coming off a Super Bowl appearance, are entering the 2025 NFL season with some intriguing questions surrounding their roster, particularly at the linebacker position. And one name that's sparking debate is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. The son of Eagles legend, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. has a chance to carve out his own legacy. But could he be traded before the start of the season? Let's dive into what's going on with Trotter and why the Eagles might be facing a difficult decision. First, let's set the stage. The linebacker position for the Eagles is in flux. All-Pro Zach Bond is the obvious choice to anchor the group, but the rest of the depth chart is still a work in progress. Last year's starting linebacker, Nakobe Dean, is still recovering from a torn patellar tendon, which he suffered during the playoff game against the New York Giants. While Dean's eventual return is expected, it leaves a gap in the meantime. Enter Jihaad Campbell, the Eagles' first-round pick in the 2025 draft. Campbell is the long-term solution at linebacker, but there's a catch. He's dealing with shoulder and knee injuries, which will keep him sidelined until mid-August. With Campbell out for the early part of the offseason, the Eagles have been left to search for viable options to pair with Bond at linebacker. This is where Trotter Jr. comes into play. The late-round draft pick in 2024 has been thrust into the spotlight, taking first-team reps alongside Bond during off-season workouts. Trotter is no stranger to the Eagles. After all, he's part of the family. His father was a key part of the Eagles' defense for nearly a decade and a fan favorite, so there's a natural connection between the team and the younger Trotter. Last season, Trotter played a significant role on special teams, and the Eagles were thrilled to have both father and son celebrate a Super Bowl victory together. But despite the sentimental connection, there are growing whispers that Trotter might not have a secure spot on the roster. In fact, one Eagles insider recently suggested that Trotter is still on the trade block, painting an uncertain picture of his future with the team. According to this source, the Eagles might be looking to trade Trotter this summer if they believe he won't get enough playing time. A trade could potentially net the Eagles a 5th or 6th round pick in return. This raises a big question. Is Trotter just a special teams player, or does he have a legitimate role in the starting lineup? It's a tricky situation for Trotter, especially when you consider how crowded the linebacker position has become. On one hand, the Eagles have a solid core of linebackers, led by Bond and the promising Dean, who's expected to be back in full form soon. On the other hand, there's a glaring need for depth, and Trotter's performance in the offseason could be crucial in determining where he fits. What makes this even more interesting is the role of defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. Known for his defensive prowess, Fangio has a track record of turning defenses into juggernauts, and it's clear that he has a vision for the linebacking core. It's possible that Fangio sees something in Trotter that others don't. Perhaps he's seen growth in his game, or maybe there's a specific role he has in mind for him. Fangio's reputation for maximizing talent on defense could be the key to Trotter's future. Then there's GM Howie Roseman, the architect of the Eagles roster. Roseman has a knack for making shrewd moves and building a championship-caliber team. If Trotter's future in Philadelphia doesn't fit with the team's long-term plans, Roseman may be inclined to make a trade that helps the team both in the short term and long term. A trade for Trotter might seem like a tough call given his connection to the Eagles' legacy, but in the NFL, business decisions often take precedence over sentiment. So what does this mean for Jeremiah Trotter Jr.? Is he destined to be a key contributor for the Eagles in 2025? Or is his time with the team coming to a close before the season even begins? It's important to remember that trades in the NFL can be unpredictable. Trotter could still make an impact in training camp and convince the coaching staff that he deserves a more prominent role. Or the Eagles could decide that their linebacker depth is sufficient and move on from him for a future draft pick. Either way, the situation is fluid, and Trotter's future is very much up in the air. This story is a reminder of how quickly things can change in the NFL. 1 minute, a player is a fan favorite with a legacy to uphold, and the next, they're being discussed as trade bait. Jeremiah Trotter Jr.'s journey with the Eagles is just beginning, but it's clear that the team has some tough decisions ahead. Will Trotter find his place in Philadelphia, or will the Eagles look to trade him before the 2025 season? Stay tuned. This is a story worth watching.